Hi everyone. In this video, let us discuss controller service repository pattern. This is widely used in industry level. Here, the client application will be connected to controller and the controller will be connected to service and the service will be connected to repository. The repository is connected to model DAO and it is connected to DB. Already in the previous video, we have set up database PostgreSQL and is connected to the model. We have made it using annotation at the rate entity, and we have done the client application as some browser, and we have used the controller for that. We made it using at the rest controller. We have done some REST APIs. Now we need to work on these two classes, service and repository. So we will create two separate classes and make it service and repository. So what is actually the controller service repository pattern? It is widely used in Spring Boot applications. One of the big reasons the pattern is a great job of separation of concerns. Like the controller layer at the top of this picture, it's like responsible for exposing the functionalities that can be consumed by external entities, including like UI components. Like we can use the repository layer at the bottom of this picture is responsible for storing and retrieving the some set of the data. The service layer, it is not the mandatory. You can skip and you can directly connect controller to repository. But in the industry, widely we will use service for writing the business logic. Like all the business logic should go. If the business logic requires fetching or saving data, it voids in a repository. So now let us create a class called repo. Like here we creating the interface repo and it extends the JPA repository, and I'm making at the rate repository annotation. The JPA repository will have all the methods, like you can see find all, save all these methods. Now, and here I'm putting the student table, and with the id, that is primary id as a integer. So basically the at the rate repository annotation is used in Spring to indicate that the class is a data access object or a repository. It is typically applied to classes that are responsible for interacting with a database or any other external data source. When used in a Spring Data JPA, at the rate repository annotation is often applied to DAO classes or interfaces that extends Spring Data JPA repository. Now let us discuss service class. I'm creating one public class service and I'm using at the rate service annotation is used to indicate the class is a service component in the business layer of the application. It's a at the rate service annotation. It's a specialization of the at the rate component annotation. At the rate component annotation is a fundamental annotation Spring framework. It is used to indicate that class is a Spring component and basically automatically detected and registered as a bean. Bean is nothing but a class that Spring Boot can identify it. Like there will be bean definition and dependency injections. Here at the rate auto-void is a Spring framework annotation used for automatic dependency injection. When we use at the rate auto-void on a field or method or constructor, the Spring IOC inversion of control container automatically injects the corresponding dependency at runtime. This annotation helps in achieving loose coupling between components and making it easier to manage dependencies and promote more a modular and maintainable code base. We have already discussed this at the rate REST controller. That is, we have created some REST APIs. Here also I have used at the rate auto-void. So in Spring Data JPA, when you extend the JPA repository interface, you get a set of predefined methods for common CRUD operations like create, read, update, delete. The JPA repository interface extends the CRUD op repository. Like we have save method, find by id, find all by id, like this delete. Some predefined methods will be there. Also we can define custom query methods. We can write our own query here and can define our own custom queries also here. Now let us define one method, public void find all. Let's call this repo dot, like you can see, when once you press repo dot, you can find all the methods here, like all the inbuilt methods. Now let us discuss this repo dot find all. So basically here at the auto where used for achieving dependency injection. Dependency injection is a design pattern and is a fundamental concept in software development that facilitates the creation and management of object dependencies modular and loosely coupled manner. The key idea behind dependency injection is to invert the responsibility of creating and managing dependency for a class to external entity. In a typical application, a class often depends on other classes and components fulfill its responsibilities. Traditionally, these dependencies are created and managed with the class itself, and we can lead to tightly coupled or less flexible code. So for that, we need to add dependency injection, address this issue by allowing dependencies to from the outset, like dependencies and all this. So once you done auto void repo, the object is created. Whenever you can call, whenever repo dot with all the functions there in the repo, you can call. Instead of void, let's make this at the list of student table so that we can return whenever it returning repo dot find all, like we can fetch, like it is like similar to select star from student table. Now let's go to controller. Now in the controller we made one method public list student table that gets student something, and I'm calling return s dot find all. The s is the service one. From that s dot find all, that you can go here. So this is the find all method, and here I'm calling repo dot find. So the repo is an object from repo class here. So the repo will be connected to jpa repository with the student table, so you can like it will have all the basic CRUD operations here. So let us run this application, run as Spring Boot app. Now let us run this on Postman. Let's check this API is working or not with that URL. So you can see it's fetching the data list of student table from the database. So uh, so basically you can see the whatever the data in the database we are fetching from the browser. Like you can check from that the URL from here. You can fetch the data from the browser from the database. So this is exactly what we have discussed. The client application, the browser or something, it will from here the REST APIs from the controller. We can hit this API. It will connect to the service, and the service will connect to the repository. It will be DB interactions, and it will be connected to the model DBO, where it will connected to the DB. So this is the control service repository. We'll also call as a MVC pattern model view controller architecture. So this is all about. So in the similar way, you can see from the browser or from the client, you can call this API, the called API. It is from controller we have defined, and now this method s dot find all, here in the business logic we can write all the business logic, and using dependency auto void, and you can go to repo. The repository now it is connected to the jpa repository, where it is connected to the student table, where we have a public class student at the rate entity. We made it connected to the database, like through we made through last video. Like we need to also put here getter setters constructor, all those. So once you created it will be the table will be form here, tables everything. So so along with the CRUD operations, we can have custom queries that we'll discuss in the next video.